Well, welcome to Hamilton County TV. I'm Perry Williams. Alongside me is a very happy head football coach of the Noblesville Millers, Coach David Sharpe. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks, Perry. Good to be here. Good to see you again.
Man, I will have to say, and I don't spend a lot of time on ups and downs of seasons and stuff like that because I know we all take it one game at a time. But I will have to say, from the get-go, the start of the day, the parade, all the pageantry that came out on homecoming day, it couldn't have been a better day, and especially when you win a football game.
It was just the best day to be a Miller ever. It was just great. You're right, with the parade, our kids did a great job of just like following the directions, just jump on the wagon, wave to everybody, stay hydrated. We had our parent club did a great job of having like water and snacks for them because that was it got hot. The parade was,
yes.
I mean, it was really toasty there. So, but we did a great job. Still just stunned at how big our town looks when the streets are packed.
Yes.
I mean, we went down 16th Street to Logan.
Down 9th.
Down to 9th and then back up through Monument. And it was, I don't know how many miles that is, but it was just 5-6 people deep the entire way, just cheering Go Millers and just very proud to wear the black and gold. So thank you to the town of Noblesville. You guys made that just an unbelievable moment for our kids. It was really cool to see some of our freshmen or kids that had not been a part of it. They were just in awe of just how cool it was. But our kids did a great job of just getting off the parade, and then we had some team meetings and some film sessions, last second reviews of Zionsville, and we got off to that hot start that we wanted to. The moment was not too big for us. There was a nice, huge crowd. It was packed like an hour before kickoff, which was really cool. So I think during our warm-up, our kids are glancing over. It's like the stadium's already full.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of helped calm us down a little bit, just because they were used to it, just kind of glancing over and seeing that big crowd. So,
and the one thing too, and you made a comment of this, and I made a comment on the air of your concern so far this season. We had not got a good start, okay? Right. And I said, right. I told on the air, I said, Coach Sharpe mentioned this in our show this week, that he was concerned about how slow a start we got, and I know that's had been an emphasis on what we were trying to accomplish this week, and it worked.
I mean, Mount Vernon was technically a good start. We had a 65-yard gain to start the season, but we fumbled. Homestead was a good start. We got all the way down to the 10-yard line before we sputtered and missed a field goal. I mean, Westfield was a good start. Had a couple of first downs before we got to the midfield and had to punt. So we hadn't scored yet in the opening drive, and we won the opening toss. We said, let's receive the ball, and we always try to have just a wrinkle or two that's different that teams haven't seen on film, and we were able to kind of run an I formation, and I've been practicing that all week, just to maybe get the Zionsville players the first play of the game just being like, wait, what's that? Coach, what is this? I don't know what to do. Maybe just trying to get them to, maybe a little paralysis by analysis and then just run our base play right at them, just run a power at them out of a different formation. And I don't know if it's that worked or if it was just good blocking or if it was just Logan made the perfect cut, but that big play just kind of got us into positive territory, and we're able to punch it in a couple plays later to get a good start. And then, defensively, we were just flying around like crazy. We stayed in a 3-man front most of the game. We wanted to keep Murphy, the quarterback, in front of us, which is that's way easier said than done.
He's very talented.
Such a good scrambler, and of course we wanted to, Baumgartner and Hilton they're running all over the place, and we wanted to have a lot of bodies. We didn't want to give up a back-breaking play, and we wanted to contain the scramble, which we didn't to start. We had to do some shifting around, do some different spy techniques to kind of hold them in check. But we forced a lot of holding penalties, which you can look at it two ways. You can say, it's bad luck for Zionsville. They got flagged a lot. But when you have a scrambling quarterback and he gets pressured this way, he goes that way, then he comes back this way. The O linemen they don't know which way he's in, and before you know it, there's some pretty obvious holds, and we got those called. So I attribute that to just how hard our defensive line plays. Izzy Oladipo, Grayson Owens, Drew Conte, Adam Mahevny, Indy Wilhelm, Michael Bennett, like just a wave of good athletes in there that were able to cause them fits all night. And then, our linebacking core did a good job then of containing the run for the most part, and a big step up in our secondary. I think Baumgartner only caught one pass for just a couple yards. And
yeah, and it was late. It was late in the game too.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. He didn't get anything early.
they really tried to get Hilton deep quite a few times. He made a couple plays, but for the most part, Cam Wilson was lined up on him all night long, and that's a tough task. As tough a task as there is in the state with Eugene Hilton. And but that's what three-year starters do. Cam's a three-year starter, and he is playing by far his best football. He's just improved every single game, and really won us the game just by containing. Because a couple of those deep balls go the other way, it's a different game, as we know. But
yeah, in watching that game from the press box up there, and of course my partner Sean Blaze knows much more about football than I do, and he commented several times of how good a job that Cam Wilson did on Eugene Hilton, because that's a very talented football player, and Cam just basically worried him to death. Really, I mean, he was right there with him, and played a very good job. But our defense played well.
Very well. The one moment that they had when we made it 14-0, Murphy got that scramble for that touchdown, and we just dropped a little too deep. Our spying linebackers were just a little too deep, and he's so good, he saw just enough of the seam to go in and make the game 14-7. But we responded very well. Had a nice, long, methodical drive late in the first half, and the fumble snap on the 4-yard line, so we had to settle for a field goal. I got a little conservative on the play calls, 3rd and 6. I was like, let's not do anything stupid here. Let's just make sure we get 3 points. We get by 10. And then, in my opinion, the play of the game happened, so it's 17-7. Yeah, 17-7. And they moved the ball a little bit right before halftime, and they ran a counter to their tailback, and he got about a 20-yard gain. And the biggest play of the game was Jackson Peterson comes from across the field as a safety and gets a shoestring tackle. It was a gain of 20, but it very easily could have been a touchdown. It looked like a touchdown from that vantage point, like, and then JP, shoestring tackle, what happens? We line back up, they end up missing a field goal. So they're 1 inch away from having a 17-14 game at the half. But Jackson Peterson, have we ever had to tell him to work harder? No. Have we ever had to say, sprint through the line? No. He is one of the hardest working guys, and just that kind of attitude, you never know when you're going to need it, but it showed up, and that was the biggest play of the game, that shoestring tackle. So going up 17-7 at half was huge. You get another big stop, mainly due to just the pressure that we were able to put on him. When we get a lead, the other teams are going to throw a lot, and we're able to tee off a little bit with our pass rush game and force a lot of pressure. And then we get the ball back and just, again, go on a nice, long, methodical drive. Our offense is clicking. The quarterback run game opens up. We're kind of always waiting for that. If we can continue to rock teams asleep, the deep ball and then the QB outside run game is usually going to be there. And that's just Jake Baker had a couple of big runs in the second half to just kind of keep the game at arm's length from Scienceville. We had that nice comfortable lead and nice long clock consuming drives in the second half to kind of put the game on ice, and it was just a great team win. Everybody played well. We came out of it healthy, and it was a great day to be a Miller. It was one of the most boring fourth quarters in high school football history, but that's what we won. Yeah. We won a nice, comfortable lead, and just 3 and 4 yards to death, and before you know it, that 12 minutes in the fourth quarter evaporates really quickly, and that's our blueprint for how to win a game. And it's easier said than done, but we hope to continue to use that blueprint for the rest of these games in the regular season. Yeah,
and the one thing, and we talked about this before we went on the air, the job of that offensive line done that today, but it was, many times in some of the games that we've won or some of the things, it's Logan Schaffner, getting some good runs, but you had a multi-group of of running backs that you used in that ball game that were very successful running the ball that
Yeah.
night. That 3 and 4 yard gain. I mean, Gully, Bellum, Baker, all those guys just did a great job of running.
Gabe Bellin and Gage Gully, our power plays were kind of just bouncing a half gap wide, just naturally with the way that Zionsville was fitting it and playing it. So they just you have to run that play 10,000 times in your life to know the subtleties of it. And those kids have ran that play 10,000 times in practice, and I give them great credit for just having a little bit of the bounce vision. And Logan Schaffner adjusting his blocks on when we wanted to run that power just a tad half gap wider than usual. And that's really what sprung free a couple of nice runs for those two guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, one thing about it was a great win, but as always in the Hoosier Crossroad Conference, there's another conference game coming up, and it's not going to be any easier.
Right.
Okay?
Our kids know that.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. But I think that this week from the Zionsville game, we've kind of proven that we could get the job done. I mean, so I'm excited about this Franklin Central game, and this is a good winnable game, and let's face it, this will put us in pretty good shape as far as record wise if we can go down there and beat Franklin Central. So talk a little bit about Franklin Central, because that's a very good football team.
They're very good. There's a lot of returning talent. Okay, so we start on offense, like Nevin Tudrow is a 2.5-year starter, and he's going to be a 4-year starter at quarterback. And he's got a lot of big-time weapons. There's a lot of Division I talent on this team that play, defensive back, linebacker, running back, receiver. A lot of kids play on both sides of the ball a little bit, but it's a scary set of skill players all over the place, led by Tudrow, who's really accurate. And he's probably thrown 500 passes in his career already. He's very comfortable on a Friday night. So we have, we just saw Eugene Hilton. We're going to see guys just like that are just as skilled as Wrigley Baumgartner as well. So going to be a challenge for our defense, and then offensively, probably the worst game that we've had since I've been here was last year against FC. They were too fast, too physical for us. We could not do much of anything, and I give their defensive coaching staff a lot of credit. There's quite a few of those guys are back this time around. Remember, this is the same defense that had Center Grove beat in the sectionals. I believe they lost 14-10 in the sectionals because it's a defensive-oriented coaching staff. You can just tell they really put a lot of their great players on D, knowing that they want to win low-scoring, close games. Is the blueprint that they have there at FC, which is that's usually a successful way to run a program. Play good D and be kind of conservative and consistent on offense. So we're going to have to really use all three running backs, maybe get into some spread stuff to give them different looks. I'm sure they're going to prepare for everything. They have all 5 of our films. We've shown a variety of different wrinkles within our offense, and we know that they'll be prepared because of that great coaching staff. So last time we went down there, we got stuck on 465 traffic for an hour and a half, and we got off the bus. We had to quickly get dressed and play, and we got down 14-0 if I recall, and we took the lead 15-14, and it was back and forth from there. They ended up beating us 20-22 2 years ago there. So it's a strange environment. That stadium's really weird. It's like really tall, and it's like it was packed. I think we're home. It's going to be their homecoming, as it was when we went down there 2 years ago. So luckily we have a lot of 3-year starters that started in that game 2 years ago. Their homecoming, and they know the fanfare that's going to come with this. But right now it's all about matching physicality and their quickness, because this is a very good team. They had Brownsburg up at halftime, right? They were defeating Brownsburg at halftime. Brownsburg took control of the second half, though. So this is a team that is as good as any team that we're going to play all season. I know that they're going to give us that. They've given us different defensive looks each time, like 2021 and then 2022, and they had different looks. So like, they're going to throw a lot at us, and we have to be able to pick it up on the fly on both sides of the ball.
Well, in fact, you kind of stole one of my questions I was going to ask you, because we are going on the road, and right now this will be the farthest trip we've taken this year, because you know we did go to Lucas, but we got to play later, and
True.
and you know those type of things. But and you were talking about 2 years ago down there and getting tied up in traffic and everything. So are we leaving a little bit earlier? Are we doing different things?
We're leaving at 4:30.
Yeah.
You gotta wait for the.
You got to
buses
wait
have
for a
to take
bus.
They have to take the kids home from
Yeah.
school, and we don't get out of
Yeah.
school till 3:40.
Yeah.
But no, I believe this group will be focused. One of the most refreshing things ever was right before the game, about 15 minutes before the game, we go back in the locker room, and I was just sat down casually, just reviewing last-second details with our team, and I just see like Gage Gully and Logan Schaffman, just like the most stone-faced, just they're just so dialed in.
They were dialed
I see
in.
Ransom and Merrick, and I see all at Curtis. It just like I was just like, I think we're ready to play. Like I was pretty encouraged right before kickoff. I was like, I think we're going to play really well. It was really cool experience just to see that that level of intensity and focus right before kickoff.
Yeah, and I think also too this team has played in front of a big stage. Okay, you know we're going into game 6 now, so they're kind of used to this, and you know the atmospheres. They've been put in several different situations. Lucas had a good crowd there, but with the big massive stadium where it holds 60,000 plus, you know, it's a little bit different in that stage, but. I think we're ready for it. We went to Westfield. We took a good crowd there, and of course they were. So, and that does have a lot of influence on the kids and what they see there, and they can look up and know that they're fans and students are there.
I always tell them that like everybody's gonna be a little nervous the first play or two of the game. If you say you aren't, you're lying. Yeah. But by play 3 or 4, it's second nature, and that's usually the case. So.
And so far, almost every field's been the same size, right? They're not different.
They tell me,
yeah. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know there's a lot of good things going on right now, and hopefully next week when I come here, we'll be talking about another Miller victory.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Yep, go Miller.